Hello everybody, my name is Rajesh Kavedi and I'll be presenting Spark Graphics API using graph frames. So this project, right, I have used graph frames, and graph frames was released by Databricks in March 2016, and graph frames is based on essentially data frames, right? It opens the ease and convenience of using Spark SQL instead of using relatively complex RDD. The example uses the same data set that is used in a Databricks blog. Um, and so the one thing that I did was the graphics does not have any visualization component. So vendor products, for instance, Neo4j and Bokeh have good user capabilities around visualization. So I have added those visualizations as well as part of this project. So graph analysis is done using Spark. Graph visualization is achieved using a combination of Bokeh and Neo4j along with NetworkX. The example basically uses the flight and airport data, as I mentioned before, from the blog that Databricks had. Some of the questions that I tried to answer was airport that is the busiest, which is the most important airport, what airport causes the most delay, when to expect delay when flying from a location and to a destination, and how many flights from Boston. I have used both a graph algorithm and graph queries as part of this. So what are the prerequisites? You need to install Python 3.5, and if you have a version higher than 3.5, you might want to downgrade that as of today. It does not work with 3.6. You would need Spark 2.x and Jupyter. You also need graph frame libraries, and as I stated earlier, I will be using Neo4j for visualization. So you might want to download that as well. And that's pretty much it. To get started, you essentially start with PySpark. You include the package name, and you give the memory and everything else that goes as part of the PySpark startup. As far as the data goes, you do need data, right? They're part of the presentation. But if you want, you can actually download the data as well from the Bureau of Statistics and Transportation. The dataset contains the schedule and actual departure from major US airlines. It also has the airport.dat file, which is essentially the dataset from open flights containing the list of airports, including the IATA code. You do need to install Pandas, Bokeh, NetworkX, PySpark, Python Neo, Seaborn graph frames. And I will be providing the graph frames v3.ipynb file, which is the notebook file. So the way it would look like is that you essentially need to start. In my case, what I have done is I have the PySpark driver as Jupyter, and I have the optional parameters notebook. I have created an alias, which essentially does exactly what I just talked about, the PySpark, along with the graph frame library. And then it gets started. This is how it all started. And I have the notebook, which is completely up and running. And this essentially contains the entire data set. And you can essentially run it. I have used both NetworkX, I have used Neo4j for visualization, along with Matplotlib and the Bokeh. And that's pretty much what I have. Thank you.